Welcome to today's episode of WooNews TV. This time we're going to do it a little bit differently. The topic today is you. We're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about who you are, who you might be, how to discover that, why it's important to discover that, and how to manage it and how this will help you along your journey of spirituality, personal growth, self-improvement, whatever journey you are on. I have a lot of clients, private clients that I work with, and there's a common theme of information that comes through with their sessions and things they are interested in knowing about themselves and discovering about themselves and things I'm picking up on them. So that's why I thought I would do this solo show. I am the guest and I am the host to share some of the information that is coming through for them because I think it will pertain to you. The whole point of WooNews TV, as I have said before, is where we bring spiritual concepts into the mainstream to make it more relatable for everyone. The journey of this spirituality, personal growth, self-improvement, whatever it is the journey back to self. In the spiritual world, we see this as we're all fractals of God coming here to this plane and other planes as well, which we'll get to experience the duality that we live in here. We live in a duality of positive, negative, black, white, good, bad. We live in a world of duality. To experience that, which is actually separation from God, source, creator, and so that we can recognize that separation and seek the journey home. And how we do that is by connecting more with our true self and understanding that essence of us. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had weird experiences happen? Like maybe you knew something you didn't know you knew, you felt something around you, something would happen that you just thought of, or somebody passed away and all of a sudden you kind of see them there, or people react a certain way to you. Have you ever noticed these things about you? Well, A, you're not crazy. B, you're not making it up. And C, it most likely means something. We are all, as I said, fractals of God. We all have that essence in us. The more we connect with that essence, the more we understand who we are, how we're wired, how we react and respond in life, and how we can manage that a little bit better in a healthier way, more deliberate, so it doesn't throw us off guard and it doesn't make us fly all over the place. And life is a little bit more to our liking. A lot of the people that I talk to are empaths. What does that mean if you're an empath? That means you feel other people's emotions and energies. A lot of us do that. And the important part about knowing that about you, if that's you, is knowing where your energy ends and other people's begin. So here's an example. Here's the way you might know if you're an empath. When you walk into a room, does your mood change? Can you wake up feeling really good and then you talk to somebody and then it sinks? Are you feeling chaotic all the time and ungrounded and just sort of flying around in the dark all the time? Do you feel that way sometimes? And like everything is just coming at you and you can't get a handle on things? That's another way to know if you're an empath. Or even if you literally feel somebody's emotions, if they're standing next to you and crying and you get sad, it can be that obvious. That's an idea. That's an example of what it is to be an empath. So why it's important for you to recognize if you're one is because it's important to stay in your own energy bubble, so to speak, so that other people can't infiltrate. You can't help others if they're in your bubble. That's how I like to put it. And we like to help people, right? That's kind of what we like to do. But if they're in your bubble, you can't help them. So it's important to understand this about you so that you can practice staying in your bubble, and we'll get to that, and let people have their own experiences because we all have our own experiences. And we can help them better when we're in our own space. Empaths tend to be very codependent. So that might be another indication that you're an empath because you really want everybody else to feel better. So you put your own needs aside so they feel better, which if you think about it, can also kind of be a little bit narcissistic because you want them to feel better so that you stop feeling what they're feeling and therefore feel better. Yeah, when I came to that conclusion, that realization some years ago, I had a good laugh about that. It was very humbling. Maybe you're someone who knows about things before they happen, or you get inklings, or you hear things, or you see things in your mind's eye. That might be you. If these, I'm pointing some of these things out to you because if you have these little inklings, pay attention to them. Make a note of them. Start being more aware of them because that's an information about who you are and how you're wired. Maybe you have an angelic nature about you. People are very drawn to you, and you lighten up a room when you walk in. Just you being you is your essence. So recognize how people react and respond to you. That's another way to have an idea of who you are, how you're wired. And play with this, really start paying attention. Let's see, what else? Maybe you are someone who could communicate with people from the other side. You can be a connector of people. You can be a healer. Maybe you're a natural healer. Maybe you do energy work. Maybe you have warm hands. Maybe people comment how much better they feel when they're standing around you. That's an indication you're a healer. So pay attention to some of these things, like I said, and even make some notes and create a timeline of what's going on, because that's more information about who you are and how you're wired. So why it is important to know more about this aspect of yourself? Lots of reasons, but some of the bigger reasons is because the more you know yourself, the more you release your fears, and the closer you are to the higher vibration. The more you lift your vibration, which is what we're trying to do here, is lift the frequency, lift our vibration, so that we can help lift everyone else's as well, and vibrate closer to the higher frequency that is God, Source, Creator. And knowing more of who you are, it takes your fears away. It does. And there's also, the more you heal your fears, either in therapy or other modalities, the more you're connected with who you are. The more you can use your gifts to serve yourself better and others, the more your wiring, your gifts and abilities won't overwhelm you. It's so important for us to connect with these parts of ourselves right now more than ever. We see what's going on in the world and in the planet, right? A lot of chaos, but there's a reason for that. This is a belief system. It might not fit in your wheelhouse, and that's okay. We are holding more light on this planet than we ever have before. So the light is rising and the dark is getting smaller. Yay. But that's going to create a transition period. So the higher we can lift our vibration, the more we can help this transition happen more smoothly, more easily, and we can hold the light for the people that are struggling. But you have to hold your own first, and you have to learn about your own, what it feels like, what it looks like, how to center it and ground it and not give it away, and be with it. So therefore we can, just by doing that, we help the collective. I know that sounds really out there, but it's actually true. Another reason why it's important to understand these parts of ourselves is this. We live in a multidimensional reality. Maybe you've had some dreams where you've been attacked or some weird stuff's happening and it felt really real. Yeah, that's happened to me before. So you're not crazy. Sometimes that stuff is real. Sometimes there are dark forces that come in and try to keep you from being the light that you naturally are, and keep you from learning about that light and expanding that light and turning up your bulb. So I'm giving you that example because it has happened to people. They've had some weird things happen. They felt some darkness around, maybe. That stuff is real. Not to be afraid of it, recognize it, and understand that you can have power over that and not invite it in. You can clear it. So and we'll get to that. But that's another reason why it's important for you to understand how you're wired and all of these aspects of you, because you too are multidimensional. There's multidimensional forces going on at the same time. Also, the more you know yourself, the more you connect with this true part of you, the more you will trust yourself and trust your intuition. It is key now to trust your own inner guidance. Don't even trust what I'm saying. If what I'm saying doesn't feel right, toss it aside. If a couple things I say feels right, then hang on to it. But ultimately, use your own discernment and trust your own intuition. The more you're connected to who you are and this essence of you and these aspects of you, the more you will naturally trust your own intuition. The more you heal your wounds and your fears through modalities we're going to talk about, or traditional therapy modalities, the less fear you will have in general, and the more you'll trust yourself, and the more you'll trust your inner guidance. Okay, it's important to have a practice. For all of us to have a practice to de-stress and to center and ground. Everybody, no matter how you're wired, that's really important. Some ways to do that I've talked about. Actually, if you go look at my show, I did episode number 2 with Ariel. She and I talk about some of that. So go have a look at that show. And she talks about some great ways to ground and clear. Breath work clears you. You can imagine crystalline light coming through your crown, through all of your chakras and through your body, and then overflowing into your bubble. You can use white copal, which is a burning kind of incense that it's like sage. It clears, but it also brings in the light. You can use sage too. You can use tuning forks. There's all kinds of ways to clear your energy field and to ground. Jumping up and down on your feet, get you back in your feet and get you grounded. Water, a lot of good water gets you grounded. It calms your central nervous system. Sometimes music can do that too. But it's really important to ground and center ourselves and to check in throughout the day and see if your monkey mind is going, you're not grounded. If you're nervous or worried, you're not grounded. If your breathing is shallow, you're not grounded. So you become familiar of these indications. Your body and your mind are telling you where you are, and your emotions telling you what state you're on. If you're overly emotional, you're not grounded. So that's an indication to tell you, okay, let's check in. Let's bring it back. Let's take some breaths. Let's drink a glass of water. Let's jump up and down a little bit on our feet, or do what we need to do, what works for us to get it off and get centered again. So find your practice and make it part of your day. You deserve it. You need it. You'll recognize how much better you feel. Another thing you can do that I tell my clients to get familiar with their energy field is sit down, get quiet, and call in the light. Just say this over and over again. I call in the light to fill me and surround me. I call in the light. I call in the light. And you're bringing in that high, high, high vibration that we talk about. That's God's source energy, and you're filling yourself up with it. And when you do it long enough where you start to feel a shift, you'll feel your energy level change. You'll feel maybe your mind will get lighter, your body will get lighter. You'll feel different around you. Try that. And that will also help you recognize when you're a little more grounded. And you'll feel your energy field around you more. Try that. See if that works. And keep doing it for a while until you feel something shifting and you start to change. You start to lift up. Couple of modalities you can use. You don't have to rely on someone else to help you do this. You can learn some things yourself, or there's lots of practitioners. But the more you understand how you're wired and these aspects of you and your essence, you connect with your essence, the more you'll recognize who you need to go to, who's right for you, and who is truly of the light. One of the things I sometimes have people do is to get quiet and breathe into their high heart chakra here and find a light. You might see something there. You might see a light, or you might feel something. You might hear a noise, but here's a center, your light. Breathe into that. Find it. Breathe into that. Give it texture. See what it feels like, what it looks like. And breathe into that and let it expand and let it expand and let it expand. And ask it if it has a message for you. That's a way that you can actually connect with that energy that is within you, that light, that spark that's within you. So here's some modalities I want to just ramble off. There's a lot to choose from. Do some research, talk to the people that have done things, see what works for them, see why, see who they recommend, and always trust your inner guidance, always. Over me, over everybody, always trust yourself. So there's energy work you can do to help you along your path of discovering more of who you are and of clearing stuff off and of healing wounds that keep you from really connecting with that essence of you. Energy work like what Ariel does, the one I did the show with. There's binaural beats. I'm a huge fan of binaural beats. It's music. It's frequency music. This is all about sound frequency. Everything is energy, so everything vibrates to a certain frequency. And binaural beats is music you listen to with your earphones. You can find a bunch of them on YouTube for grounding, for centering, for anxiety, for clearing each individual chakra, your first chakra, your second chakra, for connecting with your higher self, for opening your intuition, for healing your heart. Lots of them. There's a really good one for grounding. This the Schumann resonance at 7.83. That's the frequency of the earth. So it really gets you grounded. So I highly recommend binaural beats. And there's, again, use your guidance with what feels right and what sounds good. Some of them, you might not like the sound. Tuning forks, also sound healing, sound frequency. Those are things you can have tuning fork clearings, or you can learn how to do it yourself. Dowsing with the pendulum. You've seen a pendulum on the string. I don't have one here. You can clear yourself with this. There's some practices that involve a lot of charts. You can go through past life stuff, current issues, things like that, and clear that out. You can learn to do it yourself. There's some wonderful books out there about that. Dowsing for Duality is one I love. I think that's what it's called. Reiki is a good one. Hypnotherapy, QHHT is a method by Dolores Cannon. Past life regression therapy, tarot, like the show we just did recently on tarot. Those kind of things can help you get some clarity on certain current situations to decide what you like, what's really working for your highest good, and what you need to realign so that it is still for your highest good. Meditation, lots of different kinds of meditation practices. There's transcendental, there's looking at a flame, there's quieting the mind, there's all kinds of meditation programs out there. Journaling is a good thing too. Also, there's some other resources for the meditation that I wanted to mention. Koans, Koans, that's a different kind of meditation. It's more of a Zen thing. You can research that if that interests you. If you like more cerebral kind of stuff, Sam Harris is a good one if you like the whole neuroscience part of it. So is Dr. Joe Dispenza. They work more with the brain science of meditation, or the brain science aspect, I guess, the neurological aspect of meditation. So again, there's a lot of them out there. Go with your intuition, always trust yourself, and also know you too are a channel. The more you recognize these aspects of yourself and you connect with yourself and you do this practice of centering and you become more familiar with your gifts and these aspects of you, and you do a practice of meditation or quieting your mind or feeling energies around you and getting familiar with all of that, the more you'll realize you too can channel, and you'll connect more with your guides and your angels, and you'll have a better relationship with them because they can help you when you ask them. They can't help you if you don't ask them. They cannot intercede. So all of this, all these things I'm throwing out at you is also a way for you to connect more of those aspects that are around you and there for you to help you along your own journey. But again, they can't help if you don't ask. So getting quiet, calling in the light, and then feel the space around you and see who you feel. See what guide you might have around you. Call in a guide. Call in a guide of the highest frequency. Always say the highest frequency, the highest vibration of the truth of the, you want truth, love, and light always to be what comes in. Say that when you're before you're getting a tarot reading or any other kind of reading, you have that control. So don't give your power away to other people, but set things up in that way and always protect yourself with your higher self, with whatever you do. So to recap, recognize who you are and understand how you're wired. Trust yourself to know. The more you do these things, the more you will trust yourself to know, and always trust you above anybody. And finally, know that you have impact and you impact our world. As you are on this journey of spirituality, self-improvement, personal growth, whatever it is, you're lifting your vibration, you're lifting your frequency. And by doing that, you're also lifting the collective frequency, and you're holding the space and the energy a little more stable. You're making it a little bit more stable. These tools, these ideas, these suggestions, these recommendations are really important right now because we want to hold the space and we want to ground the energy so that it keeps everything stable. Things don't go quite so crazy, and we can move through things and these changes and challenges we're going through in our own lives and in our nation and world with a little more ease. So I hope this helps. I hope this was fun, and love some feedback, some questions, comments, and if there's any topics you want to hear, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Thanks so much.